It lasted less than a second. No words, no whistle, no replay review. Just a missed handshake and a moment that split the basketball world in two. After a routine Team USA exhibition, Caitlin Clark moved down the line like every player before her, one handshake at a time. Then she reached Angel Reese. And nothing. A slight pivot. A step forward. No contact. By the time anyone realized what happened, the clip was already everywhere. Slowed down, zoomed in, replayed like courtroom evidence. Analysts broke down body language. Fans picked sides. Narratives formed instantly. Because this was never just about a handshake. It was about rivalry, perception, power, and in a league already navigating growth and scrutiny, this single moment became something bigger, a story people were ready to believe.
Iowa's Caitlin Clark has become a national phenom, and some fans say,
but what if that story isn't the full truth? What if, beneath the noise and instant reactions, the reality looks different? Let's ask the real question, without bias, without agendas. Did Caitlin Clark intentionally ignore Angel Reese? To answer that, you have to understand who Clark is as a player. She isn't just talented, she's elite. Generational. Her defining skill? Spatial awareness. She processes the court in real time. Angles, movement, positioning. Faster than most players can even react. Go back to her college days. Watch the passes she made at Iowa Hawkeyes women's basketball. No-look assists through traffic. Half-court reads before defenders even realized they were beaten. She doesn't miss things. She sees plays before they exist. That's what makes this moment so complicated. Because the idea that a player with that level of awareness somehow didn't notice a 6 feet 3 inches forward standing directly in front of her, hand extended, that's hard to believe. This is the same player threading impossible passes through packed defenses, finding teammates without even turning her head. So yes, she likely saw her. And if she saw her, then the movement wasn't accidental. The pivot, the turn, that was communication without words. Anyone who's competed at a high level understands it. Sometimes frustration doesn't come out in speech. Sometimes it shows up in what doesn't happen. Here's where things get misunderstood. There's a massive difference between a split-second emotional reaction and something deeper. What happened in that line wasn't a declaration of war. It wasn't hatred. It was frustration. Raw, immediate, unfiltered. And if you want to understand that frustration, you can't just watch the handshake. You have to watch the game. Rewind the tape. Forget the clip for a second and look at the full 40 minutes. Yes, Team USA controlled the scoreboard. But beneath that, there were cracks. The offense wasn't flowing smoothly. Timing felt off. Execution wasn't clean. And at the center of it all was Caitlin Clark, doing exactly what she was brought there to do. Create, lead, control the tempo. But when that rhythm breaks, when things don't click the way they should, that frustration builds, not toward one person, but toward the moment itself. And sometimes, it shows up in a single second that the entire world refuses to stop replaying.
But right now, we're talking about Caitlin Clark. It's been a busy offseason for you. We talked about her playing with Team USA.
Caitlin Clark was leading the team in scoring. She was dropping dimes, controlling the pace, and commanding the floor. She even had the highest plus-minus on the roster. Simply put, she was doing her job at an elite level. Angel Reese was doing hers too. She was dominating the boards, battling in the paint, and grabbing rebounds like everything depended on it. But as the game against Puerto Rico went on, something started to shift, and it wasn't minor. Reese, whose role is to secure rebounds and quickly outlet the ball to her point guard, began stepping outside that role. Instead of immediately passing to Clark, she started putting the ball on the floor herself. She began bringing the ball up the court, initiating transition plays, and attempting passes outside her usual skill set. In some possessions, she even appeared to shield the ball away from Clark during recovery. Think about that for a second. Let it sink in. You have one of the most elite offensive engines in women's basketball right there, calling for the ball, ready to run the offense, and the forward waves her off to play point forward. If you understand basketball at any level, you know exactly what that does. It creates stagnation. It kills spacing. It disrupts rhythm.
We're going to go talk to some of her teammates to see what are some of their best Caitlin clapbacks, or
It throws off the timing of the pick and roll. It breaks the flow of the offense. It creates unnecessary chaos on a team that's supposed to showcase the highest level of basketball. For a highly competitive point guard like Clark, watching the offense get taken out of her hands like that isn't just frustrating, it's infuriating. It's like a surgeon asking for a scalpel, and someone else deciding to perform the operation. That kind of breakdown drives elite competitors crazy. So when the final buzzer sounded, Clark wasn't thinking about optics. She wasn't thinking about social media or public reaction. She was thinking about the missed opportunities, the broken plays, and the disrupted flow. She was still in that mindset, the frustration of a fiercely competitive athlete dealing with a messy, disjointed game alongside a teammate stepping into her lane. And that's why the handshake was skipped. Not because of a deep rivalry, not because of hate. It was a moment, a reaction. A 22-year-old competitor essentially saying, "I didn't like how that went. I'm frustrated with how you played, and I'm not in the mood to fake it right now." That's it. That's the entire story. Everything else, narratives. And this is where things get uncomfortable. Because now we have to address the double standard that no one in sports media seems willing to call out.
The WNBA draft is this Monday, and Iowa star Caitlin Clark is expected to be the #1 pick.
If two male superstars had a frustrating game, and one of them skipped a handshake, nobody would care. Not for a second. We've seen this play out for decades. Chris Paul openly ignored his own teammates during a playoff huddle in 2021, visibly frustrated with defensive breakdowns, and the media called him a floor general holding his team accountable. Draymond Green literally punched his teammate Jordan Poole during a 2022 practice, got suspended, came back, and was still praised as the emotional heartbeat of a dynasty. We've seen Kobe Bryant refuse to pass for entire stretches, glare at teammates like Dwight Howard and Pau Gasol with visible frustration, and walk straight to the locker room without acknowledging anyone. And did Nike drop him? No. They built an entire Mamba mentality brand around that exact edge, and sold it to the world. We've watched Tom Brady smash tablets on the sideline, yell at teammates on national TV, and it gets packaged as he still has that fire. LeBron James has shown visible frustration, slamming tables, calling out teammates, and the response? That's leadership. Every time it happens, the narrative is the same. We call it passion. We call it competitive greatness. We praise the obsession with winning. We've built entire brands, documentaries, and even Netflix specials around the idea that elite male athletes are allowed, encouraged, even, to be intense, difficult, and unapologetically demanding in the heat of competition. That behavior isn't criticized. It's celebrated. It's monetized. But the moment something similar happens in women's basketball, the tone completely shifts. Suddenly, the narrative becomes softer, smaller, almost dismissive. Instead of recognizing competition, people reduce it to drama. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese weren't treated like elite professionals competing at the highest level. They were treated like characters in a storyline. Nobody called it competitive fire. Nobody framed it as holding teammates accountable. Instead, it turned into headlines, debates, and gossip-style narratives. There's an expectation placed on female athletes to always be smiling, always supportive, always perfectly composed. But competition doesn't work like that, and we've seen this before. Serena Williams dealt with this her entire career, where intensity was often questioned instead of respected. So the real issue isn't the moment itself. It's how differently we choose to see it.